I've got new toys. It's 2 of the new MagSafe mounts from Moment on this Behind the Shot review. Hi, and welcome to Behind the Shot. I'm Steve Brazill, and this is not one of the normal podcast shows. Today, I've got a review for you, and I'm looking forward to talking about some of the gear that I've got. Before I do, YouTube tells me that a lot of you that are watching are not subscribed to the channel. So please, head on down, hit the subscribe button, make sure you click the bell and click all. That way you'll be notified each and every time I release something new, whether it be a review like this or one of the critique shows that I do with my buddy Don Komarechka, or for that matter, one of the normal podcasts that we put the video up here on the YouTube channel. Speaking of the normal podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts in 2 formats. If you search for Behind the Shot in your podcast app, you'll find an audio-only version, and you'll also find a video version. Subscribe to the one that you wish, and all the show notes and all the show information is always available at behindtheshot.tv. So, for the gear we're going to talk about today, a quick disclaimer. All of the gear I mention, all of the gear I show you, I bought with my own money. They're not loaners. They're not, coming through any promotional gear. There's no compensation from any company. And Moment does not get an opportunity to watch this first and approve or deny anything that I say. It's all my own ideas. And I'm going to start this review a little different. I'm not going to jump right into the gear. I want to talk about the idea of MagSafe because I still use, sitting in front of me here, a 2015 MacBook Pro. And part of the reason, there's a lot of reasons, right? But part of the reason is I love the MagSafe power connector, and it has saved me on a few different occasions. And so I just wasn't ready to go USB-C for the power connector. Again, some other reasons as well, but that is a big one to me. But when I first heard rumors that the iPhone 12 was going to include possibly, again, rumor at this point, MagSafe, I was super excited about what accessories might come from that. When it came true, I was actually really, really excited to buy some accessories. So my first MagSafe accessory for the iPhone was the Apple Clear case. I ordered it with the phone, and immediately when I got it, I hated the white circle that hides the magnets and the little line. I just hated it. So I immediately sent that back and ordered what I normally do. I like to see my iPhone, but I also like a case. So I find the thinnest, clearest case that I can find, not a MagSafe case, and that's what I did. And it actually worked with the second MagSafe accessory I bought, which is the Apple charging disc. Even though it was not a MagSafe case, charged absolutely fine on that charging disc. But the magnets were strong enough that in the morning when I woke up and grabbed the phone and picked it up, right, I'd pick it up to the point where the cord was stretched, the magnet would pop off, fall, and make a ton of noise. And I realized that wasn't for me. Now, in defense of the charging pad, it works as they say, it does what they advertise, and you can get little weighted bases, but it just wasn't for me. So the next MagSafe thing that I bought, and I wish I had done a review on this one, but I was stupid and I didn't think about it until it was already installed, is the Belkin 3-in-1 wireless charger with MagSafe. I have one, my wife has one. You can charge the Apple Watch, you can charge your phone, and if you have them, you can charge AirPods. And we absolutely love these things. With the third-party case, the magnets are strong enough that if you put it up there and take your time, it might stay, and it will for a little bit. But I wasn't confident in it, so I decided to switch back to an Apple MagSafe case. I didn't get the clear one. I got a solid color one, and it works absolutely great, which brings me to the stuff I want to talk about today, and probably the accessories I am most excited about for an iPhone with MagSafe, the Moment MagSafe Mounts. Now, Moment is a company that is well known for great products. I've never owned any of their products, but they are considered to be the definition of great mobile lenses. Okay? They have a reputation as the best glass you can get in mobile, or at least some of the best glass you can get in mobile. They have their own cases. The lenses mount to that, which is part of the reason I've considered it multiple times, but part of the reason I don't own Moment lenses is because I didn't want to use the Moment cases. I always want, like I said, my clear cases. But when they got into MagSafe mounting, they went nuts, and they have a lot of different options. So let me go through those here really quick. There's a wall mount. There's a car vent mount. There is a cold shoe mount. There is a tripod mount that's landscape and portrait. And then there is a pro tripod mount that's landscape and portrait. There's also a Pro tripod mount that's cold shoe, but not landscape and portrait. And last but not least, there's the multi-threaded mount. You can find all of these at the website, which is shopmoment.com/MagSafe, and you'll be able to see all the different products that you have. But for me, I started with 2, at least for now. That could change. There may be more in my future, right? The Pro tripod for MagSafe, landscape and portrait, and the car vent mount for MagSafe. I bought those 2, and I want to start with the Pro tripod for MagSafe, landscape, and portrait. I want to talk about why I wanted this thing. I wanted a way to mount my iPhone as a second camera for the podcast, either as a side view or back view camera, or what's known as a top-down camera. Now, if you don't know what a top-down camera is, you will see a top-down camera as I show you the unboxing, where it shoots down, you'll see my hands, you'll see the box, etc. That's a top-down camera. And that's mainly what I wanted this use case for. Obviously, I'm going to film the unboxing today. So obviously, I have a way to do a top-down camera now, but what it is one of those spring-loaded kind of clamp-style mounts. And it works fine for doing what I'm doing, unless you need to remove the phone really quick, okay? Plus, the MagSafe gives you the ability, since there's no clamp, to rotate the phone easily if you want to change what you're actually going to use it for. In my particular case, the clamp mount gives a couple of problems. I've had times where the phone goes to sleep and I need to wake it up really quick. Well, I either have to stand up and look down at the top of the screen, or I have to unclamp it. There are times when a phone call comes in because I forgot to put it in airplane mode, and trying to get it out to answer it really quick doesn't work well. Or the biggest problem I have is a lot of times it hits the 2 buttons that you use to take screenshots or to shut your phone off. And what happens before you shut it off? It goes into that emergency countdown mode to make an emergency call. All of those with the clamp have been a problem for me. I've ended up with a ton of screenshots. This solves almost all of those problems. Let's unbox it. First thing you're going to notice is the packaging is very, very clean and very minimalistic. The paper or cardboard, which is very thin, the black paper, has a recycled feeling to it. At the bottom, you'll see interlocking tabs to open and close the box. When you open the box, the first thing you see is this card. And the card is just describing, it's not like a manual, it's just describing the features. It talks about the cold shoe. It talks about the thumb screw that is used to tighten or let you rotate the cold shoe. It points out the M-Force magnets, which, by the way, are very strong. I love the magnets that they're using in these. And it talks about the mount on the bottom, the 1/4-20, that you would use to attach it to a tripod, a GorillaPod, a Platypod, whatever it might be. The only other thing in the box is the mount itself, and there is a ton to like about this thing. For the pros, it is very well built. It's got a long attachment so that you can rotate your phone into portrait mode, so that the normal tripod mount without a cold shoe also has that long attachment. The other Pro tripod mount, the one that doesn't say landscape and portrait, that has a shorter post on it, which would make it almost impossible, depending really on what you're screwing it onto, to put your phone in a portrait mode. The cold shoe can be rotated depending on the orientation of your phone, and the thumb screw that's right in the middle of the main disc is what you use to tighten it down. And the machining on this thing is insane. I mean, really honestly, I'm very impressed with the machining they did here. The magnets, as I say, crazy strong. And if you don't use a case and you're worried about the back of your phone, the main magnetic pad does have rubber on it to protect you. As far as cons, I haven't been able to find one with this thing. Right? I really, really like it, except my buying experience. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit in detail as we get to the end of this video in a moment. The bottom line, I love this thing. I like what they did with the MagSafe mounts, and I'm looking forward to owning some more. And I do have one other one. As I mentioned, I bought the car vent mount. So let's talk about my use case for this. Currently, I use a CD mount, and it's also the clamp style. And the problem with a CD slot mount, which slides into the CD slot and has teeth that spread apart, I'm on my second one, and the same thing is happening. Over time, it starts to loosen in the CD slot, and it starts to droop, and you periodically have to push it back in. And that drives me absolutely crazy. But here's the thing. I'm used to the position. I have a stick in my car, and it's right in front of my hand. I don't even have to take my hand off the stick, and I can touch the screen, and I like that. While a vent mount won't give me that, I like it being centered. I don't want something on the driver's door side. I like it being where all of my normal console controls and displays are. I knew I wanted that. That's where this vent mount for MagSafe from Moment comes in. Now, I've tried this type of vent mount before and hated it. Either they're a dumb mounting system to your phone where they give you a little metal disc, you got to put it in the case. That's what the magnet ties onto. They're tiny little rings that barely hold the phone. The teeth that clip onto the louvers of your vent are very small, which means they don't fill the gaps between the louvered vents, and they slip, they droop, they pull your vent down, all of that type of stuff. Really, the cheap ones I don't like, except for one thing. Most of the cheap ones have a little ball head so that when you put it in your center console, it doesn't face the center of your back seat. You can angle it towards the driver, okay? Other than that, I hate the cheap ones. This one solves almost all of those problems, not all of them. Let's unbox the car vent mount for MagSafe from Moment. Same as with the Pro Tripod mount, the packaging is very minimalistic. And it's the same style black box, and inside you'll see that there is the card, same card as before, but in this case, there's a lot less to discuss. It mentions the magnets, it mentions the rubber teeth or rubber grips that hold on to the actual vent louvers. Other than that, pretty much the same kind of a card. And under it, it changes a little bit. You've got this little cardboard with a window and shows a piece of little foam paper. When you pull those out, you find the actual mount itself. And again, wonderful machining here. It is one of the most solid, well-built car vent mounts I've ever held in my hand. It has a lot going for it. It fits my vents very, very well. Much more solidly than any of the other ones I've tried. And here's one of the keys. It mounts really firm and it doesn't slip while you're driving. I hit speed bumps. I tried everything to get it to slip. And if you slide it flat, straight on, and all the way on, it stays stuck on your car vents. And the nice thing to me actually is the teeth that slide onto the louvers, those are actually wide and deep. So when they go on, it doesn't bend the louvers, which I was afraid on one of them one of the cheap ones was gonna mess up the look of my vent and permanently put a warp in one of the louvered vents. But it stays on, it fills the gaps, and it causes it to not droop as much either. So far, I really, really like it. There is some cons. First of all, it doesn't work on all vents the way I would want. When I say it doesn't work, yes, it mounts on almost all vents, at least all the ones I've tried. But my wife's car, her vents are up near the top of the dash where it starts to roll towards the window, which means the vents kind of point up. When you put the phone on the magnetic mount, your phone screen is pointing almost at the roof of your car. It's at a heavy, heavy angle. It lays, I wouldn't say flat, but it's a pretty steep degree, so it doesn't work there. It does work on her driver's side door vent. It also works on my driver's side door vent. When it's in the middle console on my car, no matter where I put it, it blocks something that's important to me. It blocks either my clock, or I have dual temperatures for passenger side and driver side. And of course, I'm mounting it on my side and it blocks my actual temperature display. It sometimes, if I mount it in a slightly different spot to see the temperature display, it blocks part of the main display where I see the radio station, the song, the podcast I'm playing, something like that. All of that I can pretty much live with. But what I mentioned a second ago matters to me. When you mount it at a center console and you push it all the way on flat square to the dash and put your phone on it, your phone is now pointing. The screen of your phone is square to the center of the back seat, not the driver. So the driver is looking at the phone screen a little bit at an angle. You can still, if you want to, unlock it with photo ID. You kind of got to, lean in a little bit, but it definitely does work to unlock it with Face ID. I'm just not super comfortable with the angle. And if you cheat it off the vent louver a little bit and angle it so that it's not fully pushed on, the problem is when you grab your phone sometimes, it brings the vent with it. That doesn't happen if it's pushed all the way straight on. So I wish that there was a way, and I'm not talking about a full ball head here. I wish there was a way to just angle it like with a little click, click type thing, left or right. Don't need up and down, so that the driver or the passenger could look at the screen straight and still have it be a solid mount to the car vent itself. Still, the car vent mount for MagSafe from Moment, I like it a lot. I think I'll get used to the little angle things that I'm talking about. And the Pro Tripod for portrait and landscape for MagSafe, I think that thing is brilliant. I mean, it's everything I wanted in these products and everything I expected in these products. The one negative I mentioned earlier was my buying experience, and I'm not going to go into all the details here, but And by the way, if you're from Moment and you want to reach out to me, my contact information is fairly easy to find. If you are buying a product or a service, it is important to understand how that company's support works. All companies or products can have an issue at some point, right? What matters is how the company handles the issues when they happen. And in Moment's case, they don't have phone support at all. No tech support via phone, no billing support via phone. Everything at their choice is done via email. And in my case, it didn't work. I had a total of 7 unanswered emails. I had an unanswered tweet where one day I was so frustrated, I tweeted and tagged the company, and I even looked up the CEO and tagged that person in the tweet as well. And then the day that I had a refund, an email tell me that a refund was in progress, it would take a couple of days. Within 3 minutes of that email, suddenly a charge showed up on my card for the full order amount again, and I had to wait a couple of days to figure out what was going to happen because, again, couldn't get an answer to the email. So my final impression is this. Their communication leaves a lot to be desired. It is okay to not have a phone number, right? If you're small, I'm cool with that. But only if your chosen method of communication, in this case email, is actually used and works well. So would I recommend these products? 100% yes, if they're listed on the website as in stock and shipping. If they're listed as pre-order, I would not. My orders were delayed 4 times, and I just was not happy with the experience. So I will probably never do a pre-order through Moment again, but if it's listed as in stock, I will probably buy more. In fact, the multi-threaded mount for MagSafe, it looks kind of cool and could be neat in certain applications. Make sure that you check out the workshop I'm doing. It's coming up in October. It is the Wanderer's Photo Workshop. It's the creation of Freddie Clark, who is a past guest of Behind the Shot, great food and beverage photographer. And it's an opportunity to experience the people, the history, the music, and the food of a destination city all in one photo workshop. This October, it heads to New Orleans, and we've got 4 instructors, a New York Times contributor, food photographer Andrew Scrivani is going to be there, hands-on photography podcast host Ant Pruitt, my buddy, he's going to be there as well. Of course, Freddie Clark, it's his idea, he will be there, and I will be there doing some music photography with everybody. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you want more details, it's at wanderersphoto.com. If you want to check out the show notes for this show or any Behind the Shot show, make sure that you head to the website, which is behindtheshot.tv. And while I'm thinking about it, the normal podcast is available in audio or video format wherever you get your podcasts. And all the subscription links, by the way, are at the website as well, behindtheshot.tv. But wherever you get your podcasts, if you search for Behind the Shot, it's available in 2 forms, audio only or video. And the video is also put here on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube and you're not subscribed, please make sure that you head down, click the subscribe button, click the bell, choose all. And by the way, click like also if you would. Give a little thumbs up. That helps a lot too. Again, I'm Steve Brazill. This is Behind the Shot. Thank you very much for watching and for all the support. And we will see you on the next show.